Hello and welcome back to another weekly video. This one's a little bit of a longer one. We've got quite a lot of algebra to get through, so just stick with me. As usual, you can pause the video at any point, have a go at the questions, and then check with my answers. So we're going to be looking at expanding expressions today and factorising expressions. Okay, but before we get into it, let's get our intentions. What do we want to achieve by the end of this year, and even by the end of this video, and what we're going to do to get there. We're going to have to stick with it. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is going to expand a bracket. So to expand means to multiply everything inside the bracket by the number on the outside. So to expand is to make bigger. We're going to get more pieces out of this. So we're going to do 5 lots of 3b. So 5 times 3b. And we're going to do 5 times 6. Okay, and that's going to give me 5 times 3b is 15b. And 5 times 6 is 30. So how we write the answer to this is 15b plus 30. Okay, we leave that separate. We don't add these together. You can't add a letter to a number. Okay, so another thing to be wary of, don't start doing this for brackets first. So I've got to work this out. There's nothing you can do with that. You can't do 2f take away 4. That's not possible. So again, remember when you see the brackets like this, it's an expand question. So it'll either say expand or it might say multiply out. Okay, they mean the same thing. To do what we're doing here. So 6 times 2f is 12f, and 6 times minus 4, well, we've got 6 lots of minus 4, so it's a positive number multiplied by a negative number, so 6 4s are 24. So 6 times minus 4 is minus 24. Okay, 8 times 7 is 56, so 56p, plus 8 times 7, 56. Okay, again, that's the answer, 56p plus 56. We don't do anything with these numbers now, we just leave it as it is. Last one, we've got 4 times 3t, so again, I'll write this one out. 4 times 3t, and 4 times negative 7. So 4 times 3 is 12, so that's going to be 12t. And 4 times minus 7, well, 4 times 7 is 28. Because it's minus 7, it's going to be minus 28. So our final answer here is 12t minus 28. Okay. So expanding, we're a little bit more difficult because we've got a letter on the outside and a letter on the inside. So here, we've got 2f multiplied by 7f. And we've got 2f multiplied by 3. So deal with the numbers first. 2 times 7 is 14. A letter multiplied by another letter gives us a letter. Remember, these have got invisible ones on. When we multiply 2 powers, we add them. So it's going to be f squared with a little 2 there. And 2f times 3, that's going to give us 6. And we've got an f here, so it's going to put the f there. Okay, so it's going to be 14f squared plus 6f. And again, if it's not exactly the same, if this was f, we could add them together. But because it's f squared, we can't add it to this. Okay, they have to be exactly the same ending to add them. So 8p times 2p, 2 8 is 16. P times p is p squared. 8p times 5, 8 5s are 40. So 40p. This one, so we've got negative 2 multiplied by 6, which is going to give us negative 12. And h times h is h squared. Negative 2 multiplied, or negative 2h multiplied by negative 7. So we've got 2 negatives here. When you multiply 2 negatives, they become a positive. So we're going to put a plus here. 2 times 7 is 14. So plus 14h. Okay, negative 3 multiplied by 3. That's going to give us a negative, so negative 3m multiplied by 3m is going to give us negative 9m. And then negative 3m multiplied by positive 5 is going to give us negative 15m. Oops, this should be m squared. I hope you didn't spot that. You know who I'm talking to. So our final answer is minus 9m squared minus 15m. Okay, moving on. Some even more tricky ones. So again, with the numbers first. 6 times 4, we've got 24. From our indices lesson before, remember when you have the power multiplied by another power, you add them together. So it's going to give us a to the power of 6, 3 plus 3. Now we're going to have 4 times 5, which is 20, and we just bring the a cubed from there. A cubed. Okay, the next one, 4 times 8 is 32. And then I cubed times by I to the power of 4 is I to the power of 7. We've got positive 8 multiplied by negative 7. So my answer is going to be a negative. So we've got negative 8 times 7, which is 56. And we bring the I cubed into our final answer. Again, we don't do anything with these now. You can't take away an I7 from an I cubed. Okay, they have to stay separate. It's only when they're exactly the same that we can do anything with them. Okay, 4u to the power of 4 multiplied by 8u to the power of 3. That might be an 8 or a v. We're going to call it a u. So 4 times 8 again, which is 32. We've got the u. And we add these together, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7 there. Positive and a positive, it's going to give us positive. 4 times 5 is 20. And bring the u4 from the outside to the end. Final one then, negative 4 multiplied by 5. So we've got a negative times a positive, which can give us a negative 20. And that doesn't affect, though, these values. They're going to stay, the same laws apply. So 4l cubed, 5l cubed is going to give us 20l to the power of 6. And then we've got negative 4l cubed multiplied by negative 3. Okay, we've got two negatives there, so they're going to make a positive. So 4 times 3 is 12. And we bring the l cubed from the beginning. Okay, so that's expanding when you're just expanding one bracket. Now we're going to look at expanding two brackets and then simplifying. So now there's going to be an extra step at the end. So we're going to expand the bracket first. So 3 times 2 is going to give us 6u. 3 times plus 2 is going to give us plus 6. 8 times 2, u, is going to give us 16u. And 8 times 5 is going to give us 40. Okay, now what we can do is we can actually start simplifying this. So we've got 6u here and plus 16u here. Okay, you always take the sign in front of the number. So 6 plus 16 is 22u. And then we're going to take the positive 6. That means we're starting at 6, positive 6, and we're adding 40 to it. So it's going to give us positive 46. Okay, moving on. We've got 3 times 3s, which is 9s. 3 times positive 6, which is positive 18. Positive 8 times 5, which is positive 40s. And positive 8 times 6, which is positive 48. Okay, now we can start adding these up again. We've got 9s plus 40s, which is 49s. And then we've got 18 plus 48. Oops, circle that, plus 48. And that's going to give us positive 66. Okay, the last one. We've got 4 times 5, which is 20y. 5 times 3, 15. Positive 6 times 6y is going to give you 36y. And then positive 6 times positive 6 is positive 36. So now we're going to add these up. We're going to take our y's first. We've got 20y plus 36, which is going to give us 56y. And then we are going to take 15, positive 15, and we're going to add 36 to it. And that's going to give us positive 51. Okay, so expand the bracket, then simplify where you can. Okay, the next sort of difficulty up is where we have negative or minus symbols in there, subtraction symbols. So again, we expand the bracket just as before. 4 times 5, we've got 20f. 4 times 4 is 16. Positive 5 times 7 is 35f. And now I've got positive 5 multiplied by 6. So positive and a negative is going to give us a negative, so it's negative 30. Okay, and now we're going to simplify this. 20f, okay, taking the sign in front of that is 35f. So that's going to give us, because we've got a plus there, it's going to give us 55f. And now we've got 16, so positive 16, take away 30. So 16 take away 30 is going to take us into the negative numbers. So now this symbol is going to be a minus, and it's going to take us to negative 14. Okay. Next one. Expand the bracket. 36y plus 36. So we've got negative 7 multiplied by 6, which is going to give us negative 35. And now we've got negative 7 multiplied by negative 3y. Remember, two negatives when they're multiplied cancel each other out. So that's going to become positive. 7 times 3 is 21y. So now we'll simplify this. We've got 36y plus 21y, which is going to give us 57y. And then we've got 36 take away 35, which is going to give me positive 1. Okay, 36 take away 35 is 1. That's 42. Oh well. Let's go back here. That shouldn't be 36, that should be 42. And so that's going to give us 36 take away 42, which is going to take us into the negatives. So it's going to be negative 6. Sorry about that. Okay. 8 times 5 is 40. So 40b plus 8 times 4, which is 32. Negative 6 multiplied by 4 is going to give us negative 24. And negative 6 multiplied by 7, I'll try and get it right this time, is going to give us positive 42b. Okay, simplifying then, we've got 40b plus 42b, which is going to give us 82b. And we've got 32 take away 24, which is going to leave me with a positive value, so plus, and 8. So we're going to move on to factorising now, and factorising is kind of the opposite of expanding. It's putting back into brackets. So when we're talking about factorising, we're looking at, you see this word here, we've got factor within that. Remember, factor means the numbers that go into it. So when we factorise, the first thing we do is draw a pair of brackets. And then once we've got our brackets, we have to factorise. We have to think what number goes into 2 and 4. So the factors of 2 are 1 and 2. The factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. Okay, so the biggest number that's in both is 2. So you put 2 outside the bracket, Then you think, how do I make 2x from 2? Well, you multiply it by x. And how do you make 2 into 4? Well, you multiply it by 2. Okay, so that's going to be put in the brackets. So you can always check this. If you multiply it out, 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so again, we're going to put a pair of brackets for number 2. We're going to look for a number that goes into 6 and 12. Well, there are several numbers that go into 6 and 12, but we want to try and find the biggest. So if we do the factors of 6 first, you've got 1, 2, 3, and 6. And the factors of 12, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Okay, so although 1 is in both, 2 is in both, 3 is in both lists, we look for the largest, which is 6. So 6 is the largest common factor, so we put 6 outside the bracket. So 6, to make 6x, you times by x, and to make 12, you multiply by 2. Okay, our next one, we've got 8 and 16. So if we know our tables quite well, we can see that 8 is the common factor. So to make 8x, we times by x, and to make 16, we times by 2. So we've got a minus here, but it doesn't make any difference. We need to make minus 16. So to make minus 16, you times 8 by minus 2. Okay, next one. We have to make 8 and 4. So we need a number that goes into 8 and 4. So the biggest number that goes into 8 and 4 is 4. So how many 4s make 8? Well, that's 2. Because it's x, it's going to be 2x. And how many 4s into 4? Well, that is 1. Okay, so that's going to be 2x plus 1. Okay, looking slightly more difficult, we've got factorising where we've got a power in here as well. So again, we start with a bracket. We look for the largest power, or the largest factor of both. So the largest factor of both of these is 5. So you put 5 outside. But if there's a power on both sides, if there's a letter on both sides, you put that letter, the smallest version of these two, outside as well. So between x squared and x, well, x is smaller, so you put that outside. So it's going to be, to make 5x squared, we need to times 5x by x. These two together is going to make 5x squared. And to make 10x, we're going to have to times by positive 2. Positive 2 times 5x is going to give us positive 10x. Okay, looking for a number that goes into 12 and 18. The largest one there is going to be 6. So the largest number and the smallest value of x. So this is x squared. So x goes outside, just x. Okay, I need to make 12x squared. So to make 12 from 6, I times by 2. And to make x squared, I need another x. So that's going to give me, if I multiply this out, 12x squared plus, I need to make 18 from 6, which is 3. And I don't need to put an x here because I've already got an x on the outside. So I don't have to put another x inside. If I put an x here, that's going to give me 18x squared. And I don't want that. I just want 18x. Okay, so I don't put an x there. Okay, our next one, 15 and 10. The common factor is 5. That's the largest number. And the common letter is just x. Okay, so now we've got how many 5s in 15, which is 3. And because I need to make x squared, I need to put another x there. And I need to make minus 10x. Well, I've got 5. To make a minus 10, I'm going to have to multiply by a minus number. To make minus 10, I'm going to have to multiply by minus 2. 5 times minus 2 is minus 10. We've already got the x there, so it's going to give us minus 10x. Okay, 60 and 25. So I think the largest factor there is going to be 5 again. Again, we've got an x on the outside, so we're going to put x here. So 5 into 60 is 12. Okay, because I've already got an x here, I'm not going to put another x on the inside. And then to make minus 25, I'm going to have to multiply 5 by minus 5. But because I want x squared, I've got to put another x there. Okay, it's quite tricky, this one. Okay, on to the most difficult then. So we've got, again, we're starting with a bracket. we're looking for the common number between 8 and 6, which is going to be 2. And then you put the smallest number of letters outside, the smallest letters. So we've got R5 and R to the power of 10. So R to the power of 5 is smaller, so that's what we're going to put outside, R to the power of 5. Okay, 2 into 8 is 4, and we've got 5 R's already. We need 10 R's inside, so we're going to put another 5 R's here. Power of 5 R's there. And we need to make -6 from 2, so that's going to be -3. And because we've already got R to the power of 5 here, we don't need to put anything after that 3. That's complete now. Okay, the next one, we've got 15 and 12. So the common factor there is going to be 3. The common letter, well, it's G, but we need to look and see what's the smaller, 3 or 10. Well, 3 is smaller, so you can put G to the power of 3 there. Okay, we need to make 15G from 3, which is going to be 5. 5 times 3 is 15. We need G10. We've already got G3 here. This is going to be G7. 7 plus 3 is going to make us 10. And we need to make minus, so we're going to put a negative in there. To make 12G3 to the power of 3, when we've already got 3G to the power of 3, you're just going to multiply by 4. Okay, the last one, we've got 72 and 27. So the largest common factor there is going to be 9. If you know our 9 times table, 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 8 is 72. So we're going to put 9 on the outside. And the smallest factor on both sides, or smallest power of on both sides, is t to the power of 4. So 9 times, we just said, 8 is 72. And to get from T4 to T11, we need t to the power of 7. And we said 9 times 3 is 27, so we're going to put a 3 here. And because we've already got t to the power of 4 on the outside, we don't have to put anything else on the inside. There we go. So these are really tricky. They do take a bit of practice, but make sure you do put some practice in, especially with these ones and these ones. They're always coming up, so you need to make sure that you can factorize one bracket with one unknown there. Okay, so that's the end of our expanding and factorizing. So it was quite a tricky session, this one, but go over it again, have another look, and obviously if there's any questions, you can come and talk to me and ask me about it. So yeah, that's this week's done, and on to the next one. Again, we just make sure when you come into lessons and when you're going over these videos that you are getting your intention right, that you want to pass at the end of this year, you want to get the best grade you can possibly get, and then how you're going to get there is just by working hard, a lot of commitment to your studies, and yeah, you can get there if you try. Okay, see you next week.